Oh, for God's sakes, more Canada here. What does a hate speech law look like in practice? Well, we know. Like militarized politics. This is from Ezra Levant. Canada has faced 7 months of anti-Semitic hate from foreign migrants and woke leftists, but Trudeau's anti-hate minister says she'll spend $237 million fighting the far right, of course. Now, I'm not saying here that everybody out protesting is anti-Semitic or hates Jews or whatever. I think that is obviously a part. I mean, you know, the rhetoric coming out of there is pretty hateful. So it's obviously a part of that. If you're supporting Hamas, if you take a look at their charter, I mean, it's pretty explicit. Like they're not hiding what they want to do, and it ain't good. But while you do have all that going on in the streets of Canada, maybe it's not the right time to be talking about fighting the far right, who are doing what exactly, and where are they exactly? But this is the obsession. This is a liberal, so of course this is what they're going to talk about. This is all they can fucking do: spend money and then accuse people of being racists and far right. That's it. The only reason you would ever disagree with anything they say is because you're far right, of course. Far right, scary far right, maybe even MAGA. Ooh.
Today's investment of $1.2 million for building bridge.
Okay, so that's $1.2 million out of $237 million total they've got.
Workshops will further enhance our Team Canada approach to combating hate by supporting victims and communities, by making it easier to report hate crimes, teaching investigation techniques on how to recognize hate crimes.
If you have to be trained on how to recognize hate, well, maybe it was never hate in the first place. Maybe you're being trained to recognize something that the government doesn't like say, criticism of it, and then call that hate.
These workshops are providing communities across the country with the tools and resources they need to truly meet the moment and fight back against the alarming rise in hate.
Okay, I'm with you there. Alarming rise in hate. From where? From where, though?
You know, we're at a pivotal moment when it comes to addressing hate in our country, and the work is urgently needed now more than ever. And while some so-called leaders are openly and recklessly inciting hate by embracing white nationalist and far-right extremist ideologies, we are doubling down.
They got nothing else. Rogue Thought says right of Mao is far right. Yeah, I mean, this thing, any disagreement with them, just one step to the right is far right. If you just stand still and they take one step to the left, now you're still far right. You have to keep up with their insane progressive, so-called progressive movement every step of the way. Otherwise, you become the new far right. They think that classical liberals are far right. They think that like just old school traditional liberals are far right. It's anybody who's not as insanely far left and loony as they are. It's worked for so long, but you know what? It looks like the spell is breaking. The polls tell me the spell is breaking. The spell where they could just throw one of these accusations at you and it would shroud your mind with confusion and fear so that you just have to give up and say, yes, okay, yes, may I have another. That's not working anymore. When you're a one-trick pony, eventually that trick is going to stop working. People are going to stop believing it. Particularly when you go from a wealthy country with a high standard of living to one that's not so wealthy with not such a high standard of living anymore. Like Canada. That tends to wake people up. You know, and when woke runs into reality, reality has a better argument. Every single time. Anyway, that was idiotic, wasn't it? Far right doesn't exist here. They are trying to adopt American issues to smear conservatives. Yeah, that's what the Canadian left loves to do. They love to import stuff from the most dysfunctional blue American cities, like San Francisco. Let's see. Yes, hate is a big problem, especially when most of it comes from PM Trudeau and his criminal syndicate. What a nauseating bunch of hypocrites. What about the far left? Well, they're not interested in the far left, obviously. That's their voters. The hate myth is getting so old. I know, the polls are showing that. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Sharing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.